Welcome, everybody, to our continuing PAA Talks podcast. We're really excited to have a wonderful, incredible musical artist with us today who hails from our beautiful island of Crete. Her name is Erini, and we are very excited to have you join us today.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. Podcasts is a continuing series of interviews with various individual artists and people who have obviously hailed from the island of Crete or have a connection to Crete. And our podcasts are brought to us by our friends Creta Authentica, and we'd like to thank them for their continued support. So I'd like to start today by just having you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you began your musical training, and any other sort of biographical information that I think would be really interesting to our listeners. And then maybe roll into how you're taking Cretan music all over the world. So go ahead.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you for everything you do for us Cretans all over the world. Really, living in the States, so it's a really. I've been living here for 11 years, and it is really a central point for also creating a career globally. So it's been a really wonderful opportunity to be living here. And I studied in England. I was born in Crete and was raised there in Iraklio. My origins are from Archanes, Kalesa, and also from Asia Minor. So I do have Asia Minor ancestry as well, which I'm also very proud of. And I studied singing in England, and then I got a full scholarship for Berkeley for a master's program. But before that, I already toured with Cirque du Soleil in the United States and Canada with the show Curious. So I was touring for 3 years. That's what brought me to the US actually. And I really liked it. I mean, I imagined myself living here, especially when I visited New York. I thought I must live here. So since I graduated from Berkeley, then I became a professor at Berkeley. It's my 7th year teaching there now, and I've been teaching and performing all over North America, but also the world. So like I would say in the last year and a half, it feels like I've been on a continuous tour since I visited a lot of different countries, mainly in Europe, but also I went to China 4 times, and also I've been to North America, went to Morocco. I've done a lot of travel in the last year and a half.
So tell us about some of the work that you do in China, because that's a sort of not an area that you would automatically think, okay, I'm going to take my music or the type of music. So tell us a little bit about how you're opening these borders in many ways.
So, as you know, what I do is I showcase Greek traditional music and Greek traditional music elements in a more contemporary context around the world, which means I also collaborate with musicians from different kind of genres, jazz, classical, contemporary, but also in projects that aim for intercultural dialogue. So finding basically ways to communicate with other cultures. So this is what I've been doing in China, which has been really a fascinating process for me. Some of the most interesting projects I have done ever are happening in China. China is a place that does value cultural heritage so much, and with that, they really are familiar with ancient Greek history, but also with folklore, and really appreciate Greek culture as a whole. And they're trying to find connections and ways to communicate with Greece. And this is where music, comes. Music really is such a vessel for communication and a way to connect with cultures. So that's what I've been doing there. And actually, I'm going back in about 3 weeks. This time, in a more academic context, to actually, this is going to interest you. Well, I am going there to speak at a conference, but also to explore and create cultural exchange programs with China and also Crete. So this is something that it's just opening up right now. It's very exciting. We're hoping to have, Chinese students come to Greece, but also Crete, and also vice versa. Create exchange programs. Something I'm very passionate about. The educational aspect and cultural exchange, which I do through music.
I think that's really phenomenal as a world-renowned artist that you are, that you take it yet one step further in terms of really for young at heart, maybe a little bit older, but really having people understand the importance of music and song and where you're taking it around the world is really incredible. And I give you a lot of praise for that.
Thank you.
One of the things you and I have talked a lot about is sort of continuing the legacy of Cretan music and Cretan musical instruments, and really that all ties in with our culture. And how are you now, when you talk about the legacy of Cretan music, helping sort of this next generation with whether it's classes or inspiration? What's your motivation there?
Yeah, for me, first of all, something that I have personally struggled with in Crete, being from Crete and growing up there, is that Cretan music is so male dominated, and I felt like I couldn't belong there. For many, many years, I saw women singing like Asian minor songs and everything, but I didn't see many women singing, but even playing instruments too. Now, in the last few years, I felt a calling. I felt like, why should I feel excluded from this? Like, I need to decode this. I need to find a way to belong because it just fills my heart. I go to all the Glendia Panegyrια, I listen. I want to learn about the instruments and how can these instruments support a female voice. It's complicated actually because the whole system has been built and it's stagnant to the male vocal range and the male, the masculine traits. So this is something that has really been a passion of mine in the last few years, trying to find my way into Cretan music because it is my own too. I grew up in it, and I have received recently some criticism for singing Rizitiko songs. Especially from societies that really work really hard to preserve Rizitiko traditions. And so this is something I also want for traditional Rizitiko. I'm not singing it in a fully traditional way. There's no way, I didn't grow up in the Lefkaori. I actually want to help add the Rizitiko to the UNESCO Cultural Heritage Catalog, not by my performances or something like that, but by the authentic collection of archival performances from the people that really preserve this tradition. And this is just one of the things that I have been exploring lately.
I've talked to a couple people about the Rizitika and in particular the song that you had also participated, I believe, in the trying, working on getting a Grammy nomination within the context of that. And, my understanding is, although Rizitika in theory seems like male dominated, it's not a male dominated genre. Would you agree with that? Or is that like, do you feel like it's
Um,
maybe something that's built up over time or?
it's still a male dominated, just naturally male dominated genre. But the most important element is that traditionally and it is still sung by men in some regions of Crete, and it has to do with the whole axiako systema, the system of philoxenia, or how people set up a trapezi or any other ceremony, let's say ritual that will include this kind of singing. And historically, it has been men that have been singing Rizitico
Right.
songs. But of course, in the last years, and not only in the last years, even from the 70s, we had women who recorded and performed the Rizitka too, but of course with a lot of criticism. Like Nikos Xylouris too, he was criticized for recording them with Markopoulos, who added instruments to the Rizitka, which is something also that is criticized. That Rizitka should be a cappella and that's it. Yeah, I, I, I think that Rizitka can also, belong to all Cretans. No, no matter the gender. If you feel like you can express something through them, you can express an emotion and history, why not?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've been seeing it more and more here in the United States, with a lot of young men and women learning these songs and feeling comfortable, standing up there, and whether it's singing a cappella, as you noted, or singing something, when an orchestra is performing, or the Radzidas are coming, and it's actually, to me, it's beautiful to see young men and women who are learning these songs, understanding the words, and feeling a part of it, which, as you said, it's taken a while to get there, but I think we're slowly getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting to see that in the United States. There's so much passion, in the diaspora here. Yes.
So this particular weekend, that just passed in November, had a board meeting in Denver, Colorado, hosted by the wonderful Cretans of Denver. And one of your students was at the event, Andoni Katsanevis, who is the
Oh,
Pan-Cretan Youth Co-Cultural Chair. And why don't you tell, who's an incredible musician as
yes.
well, American born, and just passionate, like a lot of our Pancretan youth across the United States, actually across North America, who are passionate about the music. Tell us a little bit about how you work with someone like Andoni or other young adults, in terms of the music, and how you're passing that along.
Yeah, well, I feel very proud of Andoni. Whenever we get a chance to have a lesson online, I get emotional. He really, yeah, he's really feeling and embodying Cretan tradition, and it's beautiful through his voice, his instruments too. He plays lira, laudo very well. It's beautiful. So what I do, first of all, I am involved quite a lot in the Greek communities all over North America. I also have an organization with my partner Aristoula Tolli, who is a researcher for Greek dance. So with our, let's say, our different expertise like music and dance, we basically work. We make educational projects. We do workshops with different communities in North America. We are judges at the FDF, which we all know, the Greek is it Greek Orthodox Greek Orthodox Folk Dance and Choral Festival. Yes,
Yes.
Aristoula is also a judge at the HDF. And so we many times we will help people prepare for those competitions, or we'll just go participate in a 2 day workshop weekend like we did in Calgary with Dionysos. Or yeah, we do our own workshops and research and projects with Ministry of Culture. So we teach those traditions, and sometimes people can sign up to have a one-on-one with me on Greek singing as a whole, because I can help them with not only with vocal technique, but also with the ornamentations, the idiom of each region that they're trying to work on, just to get closer. I get them to listen to so much music and hear the older recordings and the new recordings and find their way.
You and I met originally in New York this earlier this summer. We both participated in the Gabby Awards, and you performed, and which was beautiful. The Gabby Awards, for people who don't know, is the Greek America Foundation under the direction of Greg Pappas, who is, of course, also Cretan and a former Pan-Cretan youth president, twice actually. And it was really it was wonderful to not only get to know you individually, but also to hear you perform. And then we got together again in Crete this summer, which was wonderful to have the chance to kind of catch up. And you did talk about your Grammy, how you had worked with the Grammy organization to submit a nomination. And we know it's a difficult process. I give you so much credit for pursuing that, and I know that the future is very bright in terms of continuing that process. How did you feel about all that? Could you let our listeners know specifically the song that you selected for that Grammy nomination?
Yeah, thank you. So it was Sepsilovno, which is a rizitiko that most Cretans would know, I think. Very emblematic song of our tradition. And for me, I wanted to send a rizitiko to the Grammys. It's something that I wanted. Since I've had the opportunity in the last 2 years to submit my own music, and the way that happens is once you become a member of the Recording Academy, you have the right, the opportunity, the amazing opportunity to submit your music for consideration. And I became a member. Because I have actually participated in two recordings that got Grammy nominations in the past, which was in Latin jazz and in jazz. So I submitted Psylo Vounno, and I connected it with a visual where I was actually wearing a Cretan cape, capoto, and I think there was a lot of criticism because people didn't agree with me wearing the male cape. Of course, I did it symbolically, but I feel really motivated after this because I saw, of course, all the negative comments, but also saw a lot of the positive comments too. I connect with so many women that sing Rizitico, and also connect with so many academics and scholars and people from Berkeley and other places here in the US who saw this project and highlighted it in our communities and spoke about it because I always say εγώ δεν έπεσα από τα σύννεφα, like I wasn't shocked with my negative comments, but people got in the US got really curious about the subject. They said, really, people don't allow women to sing this genre? Can you talk to us about this? No, no, no. I really wanted to make them familiar with the history, but also with what women are doing nowadays in Greece, in Crete, and it's just been such an amazing last couple months. Just bringing the topic on the table, talking about it, presenting about it, and meeting Grammy members. I sang at the Grammy Museum in LA a month ago, and a lot of people showed a great response to this.
Well, we're very proud of you for not only the work that you're doing around the world, but really bringing something like a Rizitico to the world of music beyond, beyond Europe, beyond sort of the border walls, as we call them, but really, and getting it into something as mainstream as the Grammys and the recording artists from around the world. Congratulations. And I will be uploading onto both Spotify and our YouTube channel your links. You are on Spotify
Yes.
because I actually have you downloaded with your beautiful Rizitico song, and also your website where people can learn a little bit more about you and yeah, so I'll have that on both of those platforms. And for anyone who's interested, it's Erini Music, ERINIMUSIC.com. And you can learn more about Erini, which is, I highly recommend our listeners do that. Bringing it sort of full circle I begin December 6th, I believe, in Delaware Valley, which is in New Jersey. Our Knossos chapter is bringing the incredible artist Vasilis Skoulas to the United States for a single performance. And we are very excited. Everyone has loved Skoulas for years and years here in the United States. He's come several times. I was fortunate to see him as well this summer in Hanya perform, which was really exciting.
Oh,
Yeah, he came for an evening there, and he's just a longtime friend of the Pancretan and of Cretans and Greeks all over the world. So you're going to be performing
yes.
that night. And
Yes.
I noticed that this isn't your first performance with Skoulas. I did see that. And so tell us a little bit about your prior experience and what you're sort of looking forward to and with working with such an artist.
Oh yeah, Vasilis Koulas is really I say σχολείο, like such an it's such an opportunity to be next to him. Just his presence, he gives this his wisdom, the experience with how I would say he has lived a life in music full of integrity, and his way of standing against certain issues as well, social issues in Crete, is very inspiring too. He really makes change. He creates change. So I've known Vasilis Skoulas personally for 7 years now. I got to know him much better during the pandemic when I actually spent 5 months in Anoia. And I have a very personal connection to him, as my sister, Eleni Tornesaki, is a permanent member of his band in the last 5 years. And she plays guitar.
I
And
saw her perform.
yes, in Hanya, right? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the interesting fact also, she's the first woman who joined Vasilis Koulas band as an instrumentalist. So that's what we like to see as well, women playing instruments in Cretan bands, which is you don't see very often. So this is also another amazing thing, and I just love singing with Vasilis. It's always like a lesson for me. That's how I see it. He inspires me. I sing differently when I sing with him. So that's it. I hope, yeah, people will come to honor his presence in the United States for the 65 years of his presence in the in discography and in music. And yeah, it's gonna be incredible.
And when you perform with him, is it, I mean, I saw the performance this summer where he had your sister and other incredible musicians. I think it might have been one of his either his son or grandson, I believe, who
It's grand.
also
Yeah.
grandson, yeah. And so do you guys just kind of do you come in and sing along with some of them or solo yourself? Like how does that work exactly?
It depends on each situation. I think in this case, I may sing a couple songs by myself. Yeah, but I'm not sure. So it
Yeah.
depends. Sometimes we have more time. We'll do duets. We'll do, back and forth, some Cretan traditional songs or some songs from his discography. Or sometimes he just asked me to do some Asia Minor songs in that context because he loves these songs.
Yeah, the diversity of Vasilis Koulas cannot be underestimated,
Yeah.
in terms of and really what he's done for Cretan music around the world is really incredible. And if any of our listeners haven't been to Anoia, I highly recommend that you do go there. Because as you noted, being there and spending time there, I think it's life-changing in many ways for many
Absolutely.
people. Uh,
Absolutely.
on that. So, as we get near the end of our discussion here, I was just sort of checking in and seeing if there's, if you want to add more about some of the upcoming programming that you have so that our listeners can follow you and hear you live.
All right. So this year in 2026, it's going to be a year of creation. So I am actually working on an album which is going to feature Cretan music elements, but also general Cretan cultural elements. So I'm very excited about that, working to research about Minoan culture as well. And yeah, I'm going to be creating a lot this year. So you're going to see a lot of that from 2027. In the meantime, of course, I'll do collaborations with some artists, some releases, and the educational projects with Avles, which happen all year round.
Well, that's very exciting. I think our all of our listeners and viewers will definitely want to get a hold of your completed work when you're done with that. So you'll have to let us know so that we can let everyone know when it comes out. It's really been an honor and a pleasure to have met you. I thank Greg Pappas for bringing and over 20
Great.
women together. Pretty empowering weekend of really meeting dynamic women like yourself
Thank
who
you.
I hope that many of our viewers and listeners get a chance to meet you at some point because you are a very inspiring young woman who is very passionate about your music and what music can do to help people really live full lives and appreciate the culture that we have to share here. And that's one of the values that we share here in the Pan Cretan Association of America.
Thank you, Diane. I feel the same about you. Just such an inspiring woman. And thank you. Thank you for everything that you're
Thank
doing.
you. Thank you. Again, this is PAA Talks, and we are thrilled to have Erini with us. We'll be posting her website and Spotify so that you can follow her and listen to her beautiful music. And we look forward to meeting you in person. We hope many of you will go to New Jersey, the Knossos chapter on December 6th to see Erini with Vasilis Koulas and attend as many Cretan Glendies as you can. There are quite a few going on right now to hear so many beautiful artists coming from Crete and here locally from the United States and North America. And we thank you, and we look forward to talking to many of you again in our next series of PAA Talks. Thank you again.
Thank you.